everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. Came across this article, interesting, but pretty obvious to me anyway, as a customer who uses wireless service and as a former T-Mobile customer, postpaid. You know, T-Mobile has been known for years, probably the first carrier to give away free lines. And that was one of the things that I think attracted a lot of customers, right? Their generosity, or so it seems that they're just being generous by giving away those lines to consumers to basically give good wireless service to Americans who can't really afford the service. But that's not really the case, right? There's always a deeper motive when it comes to any of these carriers giving you anything, right? So there's no such thing as something for free, right? There's always a cost to get it. One way or another, you're paying. It may not be upfront, it may not be evident or obvious to you that you are paying for the service or the line in itself, but you are. And basically that's what this article is just kind of revising here, letting us know that, hey, all those free lines that T-Mobile has been giving away for years is for the benefit of them, not the consumers. And why did they do this? Well, they did it at first to kind of, get into the scene, right? They were new out of the big three, right? Out of AT&T and Verizon. And they came on, and it was very hard to compete with the likes of Verizon and AT&T. They had a large clientele. They were the big game in town. T-Mobile came in with cheaper service, offered more perks than the other two carriers, gave away free lines, which is something the other carriers were very hesitant to do. And this is what made T-Mobile a success, right? Doing Un-carrier moves before they defined themselves as an Un-carrier. So lately, with a lot of backlash over their rising prices in general, adding taxes back, raising prices on their OG plans, right? Their legacy plans, a lot of reason for customers to leave T-Mobile, if you will, over the last particularly year. And I want to say year and a half, they've just been doing a lot of Un-carrier things. And pretty much it's at the point where they're no longer even really calling themselves that. They will still try to use that statement if they think it benefits them and will give them a sale, right? If some customers are not paying attention, don't really know the history of T-Mobile and what they used to offer, they might still see them as a good deal. And in theory, and even in reality, they are still a good deal. They still offer good plans, even though their plans are a little bit more expensive and the taxes are added now. You do get some decent perks for the service. Whether or not you consider them reliable enough to pay what they want now is entirely different. But if you add more lines, you will find that you can get some decent service with decent perks, and it'll start to get cheaper as those lines grow. The more people you add, the more you can benefit as a consumer. And T-Mobile will, of course, to offset some of this negative press, customers that are leaving, they're whipping out the free lines again. We've talked about this in a couple of videos over the last couple of months, T-Mobile giving out free lines, and it is all for the greater good of keeping the customers that they have. So if these customers are on one of their newer Go 5G plans, the more expensive plans, T-Mobile is going to try to give you a free line to keep you as a customer because they see value in you, right? They see that you're paying what they want. You're not on one of their stale old plans and there's profits being made. They want you to add other members. So that way, hopefully you'll be locked in, right? Because what do I always say? It's harder to leave a plan when you have 5, 6, 7 people on it versus 1 or maybe 2, right? If it's just you, a single line, and you're paying for postpaid, say $70 a month or whatever it is, if you get tired of them, you can just go to Metro. You can just go to US Mobile. You can just go to Mint Mobile. But when you have 5, 6, 7 or more people on your line, it can be complicated because there could be unpaid devices that are tied to it. They could be tablet lines, smartwatch lines, or you could just be dependent on the service, what it offers. Maybe the hotspot is good. Maybe you have some streaming services. This is how they get you. And throwing in a free line complicates it even more, right? It's more incentive for you to stay, and it complicates the situation even more if T-Mobile does start to raise prices on your specific plan, you're going to think twice about leaving, and that's how they get you, right? So that's what they want. So it is interesting. That's pretty much what this article just kind of talks about, their grand scheme, what it's really all about. But I think we already knew this. For many of you, you basically call it T-Mobile buying your love, or giving you watered down lines, right? Because we know these aren't the top tier lines. The QCI levels are usually very low. They don't really offer too many perks on these free lines, probably nothing but just free 5G access, and that's it. But again, it's free. So if you have someone that needs T-Mobile service, they're a member of your family, and you want to hook them up, you can throw them on and get them activated. And again, it doesn't cost you anything. But again, worthy of knowing that that is really what it is, right? They want you to stick around, stay with them. And this is how they've been doing it for years, giving away free lines. And Verizon does it now, and AT&T does it now. It's just T-Mobile was the best for free lines, and they still technically are when you really think about it. And the perks too. I still think the perks are good with T-Mobile. I think they're giving you, a decent amount of stuff. It's just, it's getting costly, right? But so is everything, right? All the carriers are raising money. It's just, it's so sudden and it's so quick with T-Mobile. I feel it's just, they literally flip the switch. That's my biggest concern with it. It's not that they're trying to be taken more serious, that they want to be treated more like a carrier even. That's okay. I mean, if that's what they want, many feel that they were underselling for years. They were kind of giving too much away, and it kind of hurt them, right? Because they sold themselves short from the get-go. So some thought maybe they shouldn't have done that. They took advantage of themselves. They sold themselves. They made themselves look desperate, if you will. And now they're not doing that. But although there's good to it, there's a lot of bad to it, because those many customers that are using the service are expecting that same great uncarrier type of offer, and they're not getting that now. It's changed. So that complicates things for them, and that's why some of them are leaving, going to the competitors, if you will. Some feel if we're going to pay for AT&T, if we're going to pay AT&T prices, we're going to get AT&T service. And same with Verizon, right? If we're going to pay one of those types of carrier prices, then that's the kind of service we want, because they may feel that service, their services, are more reliable, right? Even if they're getting a little less perks, it may be worth it for them to make the move, right? So, but anyway, that's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.